There was a moment in my life when something subtle began to shift. It didn't happen dramatically. It wasn't a breakthrough or an epiphany. It felt more like a quiet awareness, rising from somewhere inside me. I started to realize that the life I had been living was built mostly from habits, assumptions, and expectations I never questioned. I was moving through my days on autopilot, reacting to situations, repeating the same emotional patterns, and calling it personality. But slowly, almost gently, I noticed that something inside me wanted more. More honesty, more presence, more connection to the part of myself that existed before all the noise. That noticing was the beginning of my awakening. Not a spiritual awakening in the dramatic sense, but an awakening to my own mind, to the thoughts that shaped me, to the beliefs I inherited without consent, to the stories I repeated because I didn't know I had the right to write new ones. For most of my life, my mind narrated everything. It judged, it compared, it predicted, it whispered fears disguised as facts. It convinced me that its voice was my identity. But when I began to wake up, I realized something important. My thoughts were speaking in my voice, but they weren't actually me. When I noticed a thought and simply observed it instead of following it, something shifted. I felt a small but unmistakable distance between me and the voice in my head. It was like stepping out of a crowded room and realizing the noise wasn't coming from me, but around me. And in that distance, I discovered something surprising. I still existed, even when the thoughts were silent. I still felt like myself, even when the old stories faded. There was a deeper awareness beneath everything, steady, calm, and quietly watching. As I continued to wake up, my life didn't suddenly become easier or more perfect, but it did become clearer. I started to recognize patterns that once controlled me. I saw how many of my reactions were old emotional habits, not conscious choices. I noticed how often fear shaped my decisions, and how rarely I paused long enough to ask what I truly wanted. Awakening, for me, became a practice of slowing down, a practice of listening to my body rather than the anxious commentary in my mind, a practice of choosing presence instead of rushing past my own experiences. And the more I practiced, the more I returned to myself. Not the version of me people expected, not the version I built to earn approval, but the version that feels real, the version that breathes and feels and responds from a place deeper than fear. Awakening isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who I was before the world told me who to be. It's the quiet recognition that peace isn't something I have to chase. It's something I uncover every time I step out of the noise and into awareness. And now, even though I still have challenges, I move through my life differently, more gently, more consciously, more like someone who has finally realized they are not trapped inside their thoughts, but standing behind them, watching, choosing, and waking up one breath at a time.